Well, it is the 24th day of the month. The year is 2023. Welcome to yet another broadcast at Peter Mwema Media. Remember, you can form part of this discussion by subscribing if you have not yet done so. And welcome to another discussion of the state of the nation as we seek to discuss the current status quo as far as the education sector is concerned, especially in the Kenyan universities. And I'm privileged today to bring on the bench two key personalities at St. Paul's University. On my immediate adjacent right is the Secretary General of St. Paul's University Student Association, Honorable Tina Carl. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And on adjacent left is His Excellency the President of the University Student Association, Honorable Victor Solitei. Gentlemen, your time is appreciated. Welcome to the program.
Asante sana.
Karibuni sana. And I wanted to start with you, Your Excellency, on this. First of all, you assumed to office. St. Paul's University students are watching this evening. You had a manifesto to fulfill. What do you tell to them now, many days after you have taken oath of office? How is the status quo? What is your promise to them as you continue to give more promises?
Allow me to start by saying that politics is different from leadership. And when we were in politics, the things that we promised, and of course we're working to deliver on according to the promises that we made when we were in politics. But one reality that I have to tell you, when you get into leadership, there are things, you get to a realistic realm now.
Reality checks in.
Yes. All the things that we promised personally, all of them are doable. But now there are things that we have to prioritize. There are things that we have to check on, that the university will have to advise here and there. This is doable, but we can prioritize this. According to the logistics here and there, we can consider this to happen, we can consider this to happen next time, and we definitely come to a consensus, and we understand that we have to accept the reality now.
You have to accept the reality.
Yes.
But what are you confirming to the comrades? Everything is okay?
Everything is okay. You shouldn't have any doubt. You shouldn't have any doubt to this government. Whatever we promise to you, we're working tirelessly day and night to ensure that we deliver according to what we promised.
All right, thank you. And I'll come to you, Tina, on this. First time aspirant, you were able to rise the ranks and become a Secretary General, a very powerful position. How has been the experience so far, owing to the fact that this was your first time, you campaigned, and you became the Secretary General of the University Student Association? Yeah, how is the experience like so far?
The experience is great. I do not have exactly the correct words to express everything. However, the experience is great, and I have to admit that it's not quite what I had anticipated for. But then I like challenges too, because with this position, I have another challenge to be able to deliver in one way or another. In as much as I cannot assure that 100% turnout, but then I have to deliver. And aside from that, the platform that it is giving me, I believe this is not something that can be achieved in a day time or in a month's time. It is a process. So with that in mind, I am comfortable and I'm rest assured that things will turn out just right.
It is a process and you will get there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to the substantive issues now. And what I want us to discuss tonight is about the status quo in terms of where we are in the university education. Recently, the government said that they are not going to fund students into private universities. Two of you are top leaders in a private university which is highly regarded. And I give you some data here that 173,345 students qualified to be placed into universities. Is it realistic for you to all these students to be placed in public universities? I begin with you, Your Excellency, on this.
Well, the government limiting funding to only public universities the whole education funding model, I think the government is too ambitious to achieve what they had promised Kenyans. It's quite something. I've taken a look at it. I've listened to different ideologies, and I've tried to weigh in how this is talking about this, how this is talking about this. But I would say that limiting the funding to only government to public universities,
yes, to public universities, yes,
might bring crisis at the end of the day. I don't know if they looked at it in this angle. When we have a big population in public universities, when we have, we are congesting now so many people in one class, we're congesting people in one university, because private universities have, we have very big numbers nowadays, since the government allowed to, started to
place students
to
the private
universities. But now when it becomes like they are not going to place students to private universities again, you realize that public universities will have a bigger number. We're going back to the era where classes will have 200, 300, 500 students learning at the same place. You teaching a whole, I'm imagining a whole lecture room, a whole, it's like an amphitheater, a whole full filled with students. And at the end of the day, when you look at this, the kind of professionals we'll be producing at the end of the 4 years, or the time these students will be finishing their course in a public universities, my take is we might end up producing people that are not really informed and have good skills, and professionals that are, they are not well trained.
They are not well baked. But allow me to cut you short on that.
Yes.
Before I bring Tina to weigh on her thoughts on this, I think the president said the big elephant here is money.
Yes.
And he said that if somebody is able to fund himself or herself into a private university,
yes,
I mean, why should we deny that person the chance to do so? Why do we give government a heavy load to fund somebody who is able? I think that was the thinking of the government, of which you are confirming that it's a little bit not well thought. It's not well thought through.
Well, I think KUSIPs will allocate students to private universities.
Yes.
But government will not sponsor government students that are going to join private universities. But those students that are going to join private universities this year will again, there is in the funding model, they can apply for loans. And the loans have they have 4 segments. I think they have split it into 4. They're saying that they will have a criteria to identify the most needy students, the vulnerable, and all that. But again, we do not have a proper framework of that can tell us that this thing is going to happen. Like because if they are going to rely on help for their school fee, for the whole degree in private university, you can tell me, I mean, help has been there for a very long time.
That's correct.
I had the help CEO just a few days ago saying that they have been added, certain number of billions to the accounts to continue funding the university students. But now I'm trying to look at this angle. They have been added, I think it's 5 billion. But the number of students that are going to be admitted as well, the number of students that have just finished KCSE last year, 173,345 students that have, straight entry to varsity.
Yes.
You try to see the number and the kind of, the amount of money that has been allocated, and you say that they are going to fully rely on help loans. For very many years, we've been having crisis students complaining that they have applied for those help loans, but they do not get the whole amount. They do not even get the school fee at the right time.
Okay.
So I don't know how you can convince us that this time round, we're going to get the most needy students. How do you tell us that within a span of 4-5 months, you'll be able to identify a whole 173,345 students, their socioeconomic status, and be able to place them according to where they are. You know, it's a big question. How do you convince us with that?
Of course,
let's be realistic.
The ministry has mechanisms on how to do that. But I wonder what your thoughts are, Tina, on this, and what do you read from this? Such a huge number of students who have qualified to enter to university education, but now it seems that we are having a looming crisis in public uni. As a student leader from where you sit, what are your thoughts on this tonight?
My thoughts, first and foremost, is a big congratulations to those who have managed to join the university. However, I want to look at it from a different angle. At the beginning, when you asked me how leadership has been ever since I stepped in, I told you it has been a bit challenging, and challenge is something that I want. So this is equally something challenging, and I'm so much anxious and eager to see how the government will make it turn. Because on the other hand, they seem to be so much optimistic on the same, but then again there are critics here and there, of which all these critics, when brought to the table, they all make sense. So at the end of the day, will the critics work, or will they look at it from the critics level and be able to at least try and cut down the whole issue and reason with the people, or will they proceed on? And if they do proceed on, then what next? Because if we are to again pull it down, what do they really? I mean, when I say this, I want to see what the government really thinks about this. If they're saying they can do it, okay, if given opportunity, what will they do? Will they be able to solve the issue at hand, or even make it worse? And if they are to make it worse, then are they ready for the consequences and to even cater for everything, in short?
Okay.
Yeah.
And you speak in a manner that you say there are critics to the government, and the government is quite optimistic on this model and then the new funding model, as President here is saying. What do you think should be done? Because we seem to find ourselves in a sort of some crisis. If today, in your capacity as the student leader, you get an opportunity to meet the cabinet secretary, Honorable Ezekiel Machogu, or the PS Belio Kipsang, what will be your advice as a student leader from a private university, so that all these students who have qualified to universities get an opportunity to study smoothly?
My take would be that change is as good as new. I do not deny. But then again, old is gold. I want to speak from my own perspective and my experience being here at St. Paul's University, technically, which is a private institution.
Yes, it is.
I've always wanted to study private, because I prefer it that way, of course. But then again,
people say that people want to study in private, they have money. I wonder whether that is the case.
I cannot quite say so, because
okay.
I am a government sponsor.
Yes.
So it's an added advantage on my end. But then again, when I say I prefer, in as much as change is good as new, I prefer old, because old is gold. Personally, I have lecturers, friends, family members who have studied using that same protocol, and they have gotten that experience and that exposure. So I don't see the need for them to kind of change everything. The only thing they could do now is kind of allow the students who want to study in the private institution access the private institutions, and at the same time those who want to access the public institutions access the public institutions, because at the end of the day there are those of us who still want to study in the likes of UON,
yes.
KU and etc.
Yeah.
But then there are those of us who would like to study in the likes of St. Paul's and KU and etc. So if people would like to do that, then why limit them? At the end of the day, the country is facing an economic crisis.
That's true.
So you cannot say that each and every single person has money. That if we are to take it from that assumption, then it would be awkward. Not every single person has money. Everyone is striving to be able to survive according to their capacity. But then again, why have that wholesome assumption that if you want to study in the private institution, then pay for yourself? We are all equal. And then I think at the beginning, when all this was done, it was being considered those who have managed that top class, at least they get that chance to be sponsored because of the grade they have already scored. So after someone has gone ahead and studied very hard, scored whatever he or she scored, and that grade is what is the entry that he or she would like to use to enter private institution, then why limit them?
Why limit them? Okay, that's well noted. And you know, Mr. President, from your capacity as somebody who should be solution-oriented, not problematic, oriented, I wonder what your thoughts are on this. If you get an opportunity, of which you're in a place that you can get that opportunity, you meet some of the top officials in the Ministry of Education. As a president in a private institution, which has, a lot of reputation, good reputation as a matter of fact, what will be your advice, to the students who wish to study at a reputable university like this, yet they cannot get that opportunity because the government has withdrawn some funding from them?
The students' ambitions to join a reputable and high, prestigious university like St. Paul's University. I have to say first that I'm in the university of my choice. I am a government-sponsored student.
Yes.
So
you take pride in that.
I take pride in that.
Yes.
I know there's so many others that would want to join St. Paul's University under government sponsorship, and probably they are worrying, how do we go about this? Probably they are coming from very extremely needy, backgrounds, and they're wondering, how will this happen? Well, the government is trying to solve a certain problem, but I don't really think that this is the best time to solve that problem. My advice, if I was to meet with, if I would meet with CS Honorable Machogu today, they have taken up the right channel, but this is not the right time to do it. I'm looking this at a 5-time year from now. From now, 5 times from now, I'm looking the scenario, how the kind of professionals that Kenya will be producing in various universities. And I'm really wondering. I have a very big doubt. I'm also wondering how the needy students will be getting help. However much they try to convince us, the government is trying to convince us that they have an instrument to identify the most needy, they have an instrument to identify the extremely needy and all that. But we have been here for years, and the instrument has also been in use for 25 years. How do you convince us that this is going to happen again this year, and they are going to get the most needy? How are they going to identify all that? There are students that even with the loans, they're still struggling to raise funds for their, to facilitate their foods here and there, their rents and all that. We are in an economic crisis as a country, and trying to pull funding from the private universities and take it to government, we are trying to solve a problem, but we're creating another big problem at the same time. So when we're solving this problem, I don't think we're solving a problem, because in my view, the government was trying to make Kenyans also think of TVET universities, and because they are now funding TVET universities as well, and encouraging so many students to start off from TVET universities. But I don't think we will, in the few years, I don't think Kenya will really transform from a Kenya, a paper society that we are in. After all, people will still be looking at what is the quality of your certificate. And certificate in this matter, they're looking at your degree. If it is a practical course, they're looking at the quality of your diploma certificate or your certificate, So I'm looking at it in the 5 years' time. And I think if we really adopt this, we may have a lot of crisis. We'll go back to an era where students will be complaining so much of missing marks, complaining of, they have been in school for a very long time, they have not been able to finish up their course. And just because there's, we are all humans, even the lecturers in public universities, the people in public universities. How do you make sure that all these students have been catered for and all that has been done? It's quite something that looks like, I don't know, but looks unrealistic, and I don't think it's the right time.
So for you, you're saying that the model is good, but not the right time.
It's not the right time to execute.
I want us to finish this discussion. What are your parting shots to the students who qualified to join universities and who are about to join St. Paul's University, and to the continuing students who entrusted their vote and confidence in you as you continue to lead them in the year 2023?
I will start by saying congratulations to all those that have made to join universities, to the 173,345, and even to all those students that did the KCC last year. You all are great people, and this country is looking up to you to bring a transformational impact in the coming years. Now, for those who will be able to join private universities, for those who will be coming to St. Paul's universities, welcome to the best universities in the globe. We take pride in being the best private university in Kenya, and we are well known even, talking about those who will be joining public universities, all the best. We're praying that the government will implement this funding model in the best way possible. Those joining private universities, and probably they'll need funding from the government, it is my prayer that the government will be able to identify you and be able to fund your studies, because it is our prayer that every student, every student all over the country will be able to get this opportunity to learn and get their degrees, get their doctorates, and all their wishes come to a reality.
Wow.
Otherwise, it is my hope that the government will, what they have planned to bring across, will implement it to the latter. And to the private universities, I know, we might have a lot of, here and there, commotion here and there, because now the government will not be funding here, but we believe that they'll be able to sustain themselves as well.
Okay.
Along the period. Yeah,
okay.
Along, as we continue.
Thank you
so much.
All right. Tina, your final thoughts on this particular topic, and your final remarks to the comrades who are watching to you tonight.
As I had started earlier on saying that this whole idea and everything is a challenge posed to the government, because most of the people are not in with the idea or not on board with it. So everyone is waiting to see what will they do, me included. However, looking at the brighter side, I would like to echo a few of the things that the president has spoken about, especially to the students who will be joining different universities. I always like connecting, or maybe speaking by connecting or referring to my life and everything. Let no one stop you dream. If your dream is to go for a private institution, then go for it. At the end of the day, it is your ability that will enable you get funds, because at most, some of these universities offer scholarships and everything, and they give first priority to the students who they see they have that ability and that they are passionate when it comes to their studies. So don't let such an idea be to hinder you, because you don't know the door behind you stepping into that private institution. And last but not least, we equally have to remember that us being here is for a reason. Maybe there's a need for us to have such convos, more of them, so that at least if in case the government is not doing the right thing, then at least them listening to such convos can enable them rethink the whole issue. Like, think again, is it right or is it not right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You want to say something?
Yeah, just
30 seconds, please.
I forgot to say something to the continuing student.
Yes.
We have the opportunity, we've been given the opportunity to showcase our potential to, prove ourselves better. And so it is my prayer that God will give us grace and wisdom, and take this as a golden opportunity to really do great and come and even, serve this land, because Kenya is looking up to us as we are and as we become. So, the people that we become. Yeah. Those joining St. Paul's University, welcome to your university of choice.
Wow. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you.
Victor Solitei, President, St. Paul's University Student. Honorable Tina Carl, the Secretary General of St. Paul's University Student Association. Thank you so much. Your time is appreciated, yeah. And make sure you serve the comrades.
Thank you.
All the best. And thank you, all our viewers who have tuned in from wherever you are. Thank you so much for always making this happen. Special thanks to the technical team led by Brian Jenga, Brian Moses, Malone, and all other people who have participated to make sure that this broadcast is possible. Thank you so much. I do hope that you continue supporting by subscribing and making sure that you are tuned in when the latest video is uploaded. Bye bye for now. My name is Peter Mama. See you on the next video.